Let's talk a little bit about Moana as a character. She has a lot of different sides to her identity. Mm-hmm. She has the cultural side, being a Pacific Islander. She has her identity as a daughter, the daughter of the village chief.
Yes.
Her desire to be out on the water, her worldview. The identity that's laid before her as the eventual chief of the village and what that status could mean for her. Mm-hmm. About her identity, like what kind of stuff resonates with you guys?
Oh, gosh. As a Polynesian woman,
Yeah.
girl, it was, I identified with her a lot because my father is the high chief in our village.
Really?
So, yes. Wow. So there are different types of chiefs, and my father is the highest one also. I relate to it a lot because growing up under my dad's roof, it was hard because we were expected to do certain things. The girls have your place. The boys are treated differently. And I have an older brother. So there was always you were treated differently. You were told to do things differently. You could do certain things. Girls, you couldn't. You got to stay home. Mm-hmm. So for her, with Moana, the dad always holding her back, saying, no.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, that is all too familiar. The calling in her life was so deep. And it was just constantly drawing her to it. I relate to it as a performer. We were always Pacific Islanders. It's not common for us to go out there and do certain things, and we're always told to do this. So for me, it was always like, oh my gosh, you gotta do this. I have to do this. I have to get into performing. I have to. And my dad and mom didn't support it at first. They didn't. They didn't think it was something we should be doing. And especially with us girls, we had to specifically, all right, take care of your family. You have a family. Stay home. Take care of your family. You shouldn't be doing anything else.
Yeah.
So definitely relating to Moana's story, it touches.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, can really relate to her.
Right now, our culture is very focused on identity, right? Like, identity is a big conversation. And I think I'm gonna take this in a direction as a Christ follower, which I know that we don't always take it this direction, but this is my spiritual perspective, and you can have yours. But as a Christ follower, we're called to put our identity in Christ first. And I think that's interesting because we see this even in the film. Like, there's culture, there's family history, and then there's life situations that can impact us, right? That can cause us to have an identity.
Yes.
And I think that there is meaning in that. Like, you just described really powerful meaning in that. But on top of that, I don't think that those things can define us. Because like you said, you couldn't let it define you, right? You had to break out of the identity that other people had for
Expectations,
you.
yes.
Exactly. Just as Moana does. And I think that that's really important to think about, no matter what your spiritual perspective is, no matter what your cultural identity is. You have to, I think beyond those things and not let them define you. You can find meaning in them, but what if your culture becomes toxic?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
right?
true.
Like, and we've seen this happen before, so this is not like this wouldn't happen. Just contrast our current culture with 1930s, 1940s Germany, right? Like, you want to identify with Nazi culture? Like, forget about it. Like, that's just not a thing.
Yes.
What if you're the son or daughter of an alcoholic and you're letting your family tradition define your identity? Like, also not a good idea. Your parents could have been murderers or whatever they could have been, right?
Yes.
And of course, life situations are always changing. We were joking about this earlier, but I bodyboard all the time. I love the ocean, but I can't identify as that. I can identify, that can be part of my identity, but it cannot be rooted in that. What if that's taken away from me?
Yes.
Then I'm not worth anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think you have to find worth in something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
What Moana goes through is this process of understanding what her history was and what she will become out of that, but not necessarily be defined by it. And that's, I think, a good message for us.
It's a good picture of how your story shapes who you are. For me, her identity is just inspiring because it's this picture of overcoming fear and overcoming suffering and really kind of living into who you're meant to be. And for me, it's kind of encouraging from a bit of a weird angle because as a father, I'm a protective father, and my wife would probably say slightly paranoid, which is fair. So I actually kind of resonate with the chief at the beginning of this movie, where he doesn't want anybody to go beyond the reef. I don't have a best friend that died or anything like that, but
right.
but I resonate with the fear of my kids getting hurt
Yes.
and something happening to them. So to see this movie where it's like a success story of the kids stepping out and becoming who they're meant to be, and that in turn inspires the father.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, that comforts me.
Yes,
you know,
let go a little
it's
bit.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, not that my son is Moana, but still, like,
Yeah.
ideally, it comforts me.
Exactly.